This episode of the Nerd Corporation podcast may contain spoilers and explicit language. Listener discretion is advised.
Oh wait.
I think it's.
Oh wait, no, I think it was him.
Was it him?
Yeah, that's his voice.
Huh.
What?
I'm pretty sure that's him.
In the beginning,
Yeah,
the red lips.
I'm pretty sure.
Well, because he's singing like
He's
looking out
he
the
can sing
window.
pretty high.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, so he's like singing, looking out the window at them as they're coming into the castle.
right.
I remember that.
That's crazy.
I wonder if that is him.
Hi, this is Barry Bostwick. Talk about nerds. I played a very famous nerd named Brad Majors in the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and you're listening to Nerd Corp, and it's a podcast. And please, keep listening.
We are the Nerd Corporation.
What up, everybody? It's podcast day. My name is Eddie Lyon, and touch me. I want to be dirty.
Yeah, you do.
With me, as always, is Derek Reese.
Look with your future eyes. I don't know if she heard it. She heard it.
She heard it. Yeah, she heard it. Nick Lewis.
We smoking the Qui-Gon gin. We smoking the Lord's bubbles.
Cole couldn't be with us today. He's got the Aaron's mud butt. But we are the Nerd Corporation. Welcome to episode 187, Retromania, the Rocky Horror Nerdy Show. We're going to spit a little nerd news at you, and then we're going to talk about probably one of the coolest musicals ever made.
Yeah.
So, let's get on with the nerd news. Sad day in TV news. We lost Richard Moll of Night Court. He was in a bunch of other things, though, wasn't he?
Oh, he voiced all sorts of stuff. In particular, he was in the Incredible Hulk cartoon as Abomination. In 96 to 97, he was in Superman the Animated Series as Emperor Spooge.
Whoa.
So that's interesting.
Emperor Spooge.
That's what it says. He was in Aw Real Monsters
Oh, I love that show.
as Big Bunny and Gangster 1. So, kind of more of an uncredited role as the second
I
one.
didn't see this until I looked at his IMDb, but he was Death in the game Dante's Inferno.
Oh, nice.
He also played Scorpion in the Spider-Man cartoon, Matt Gargan.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. In the new Batman adventures, he was Harvey Dent / Two-Face, of course. He was in Cow and Chicken. He was in all sorts of stuff. In Justice League, he played Java. He showed up in Smallville for an episode as Mr. Moore.
He was in the first Fallout game.
Yep.
And he returned as Harvey Dent in Batman: The Brave and the Bold. He was even in Scooby-Doo, Curse of the Lake Monster as Elmer Uggins.
Do you guys remember Evolution?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a cool
Yeah,
fucking
he was-
movie.
It looks like he didn't have a huge role in that movie, but just seeing that poster just was a core memory unlocked for me.
He even showed up in Fallout, a post-nuclear role-playing game.
Yeah, the first one. Yep.
Yeah, as Cabot.
That was like the first one on PC or whatever.
Yeah.
He was Mr. Moore in Smallville.
That was the first one ever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I tried playing that game. I fucking couldn't. It was just so weird, and they don't really tell you what to do.
Yeah, I generally like those grid turn-based games, kind of like Fire Emblem. Like, I love those games. But it was just going back to how it looked and everything. Like, I played it for probably like a good hour.
Yeah, same here.
I have them all on Steam.
I played it for like an hour,
Yeah.
and then I was like, I don't think I like this.
And I was able to find one more that I had seen earlier, couldn't find it again, so I didn't want to mention it, but here it is. He was in Batman the Animated Series as Harvey Dent and the Bat Computer.
That's fucking rad.
He was just all over the place in terms of voice acting. By the way, fun fact, So in Night Court, his name was Bull Shannon, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the character's...
Bull Shannon?
Yeah, Bull, like Bull.
Oh, I thought he was like Bowl, like...
No. But the character's full name was Aristotle Nostradamus Bull Shannon.
What the hell?
Yeah.
That's like when you find out that Shawn Michaels' full name is Shawn Michael Higginbottom.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck, dude? Higginbottom?
Hickenbottom.
Hicken, that's right.
It's Hickenbottom. That's a fucking cool name.
Right?
Like I would have
Yeah.
enjoyed him just as much as Michael Hickenbottom.
Like it's always like wrestlers that have hidden their names have like the dumbest names, like
Right.
Wayne Johnson,
Right.
or I guess Triple H's real name isn't that stupid.
Paul Levesque.
Levesque, is it Levesque?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Granted, when I was a kid, I thought his actual name was Hunter Hearst.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that's true. Funny story. I wonder if Richard Moll was a Mormon, because his first film was titled Brigham, and he played Joseph Smith.
What the hell?
Well,
So
I don't think
is that just something like not at all?
it's probably just something.
Yeah,
that he did.
a biopic of American religious figure Brigham Young. Well, but see, the reason I wonder that is because like that's usually something. If it was made by
What I was gonna say
people
is,
in the church, they would have picked people who are in the church generally.
well,
to
if it
be-
was made by the people in the church, but then again, you've got
but who knows?
You've got, what is it, Under the Banner of Heaven, which Andrew Garfield is in,
Yeah,
and that's about like the Mormon Church and
right. But like,
kind of, but not really.
yeah, it's not like a Mormon church movie.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a like fuck these weirdos.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Oh, actually, you know what? It says the Brigham film was not commissioned or funded by the church,
Oh.
but produced independently by some church person, by a member of the church.
Some church person.
some church person.
Some church guy.
Yeah, by some random member of the Mormon church. But that's crazy. But yeah, no, so I mean, I guess that could go either way then. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't.
Rest in peace.
But yeah.
To a sleeper legend for me.
Oh yeah. So for me, I mean, when I saw that he died, I was like, oh damn, Bull from Night Court died. And I had no idea.
Yeah.
No idea he was in any of this other stuff.
I had no idea who he was. Like,
You were like, who?
yeah, exactly. And so I looked up his IMDb, and then it just was like, oh, he was in Batman. It's like, now I remember him without actually knowing who he was.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So rest in peace to Richard Moll. Another death that we have to report is that of Mathew Perry.
Yep.
Wild. He was only 54, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, 54. Died of an apparent drowning. Most people know him best as Chandler from Friends, but he was in a bunch of other things. He was in Fools Rush In, the whole 9 yards. Yeah, he was in Fools Rush In, the whole 9 yards. A little nerdy trivia, he was Benny in Fallout New Vegas.
Yes, he was. I remember when I found that out, I was, for lack of a better word, I was flabbergasted.
Right, right.
Because it's just like, and it was just kind of a random but well-known pick for that game, because there wasn't anybody else that was like of notable name that was
like a big
voicing in
well-known.
the game.
Gotcha.
Right.
And then it's just like, oh, and by the way, Mathew Perry. It's like, what, dude? Like, okay, cool.
Yeah, that was wild. And he doesn't really do any other like voiceover type work. Like he was a guest on I don't know if he was a guest or he was a character on The Simpsons, but he was on The Simpsons and then Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly wouldn't have been a regular.
No, But then that was it. Like everything else is all just,
Live action
stuff. He was in The West Wing, whole 9 yards in the sequel, like I said, Scrubs.
Right.
Numb. The last movie that he did, or at least what it says on his IMDb, is The Kennedys After Camelot. So
I remember reading an article. Bruce Willis lost a bet with Mathew Perry from the whole 9 yards.
Uh-huh.
So that's why So then that's why he had to be on Friends for like that.
Right.
episode
Oh.
arc,
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. In working on that.
which was like great.
Right.
When Ross is like hiding from him when they both go up to the cabin. Like I love that whole little arc that they did there.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to go back and watch some Friends. Like, it's a big hit for me. Me and my sister, that was one of our like bonding TV shows.
Right.
Was watching Friends together, and you know, so
I know that a lot of people love to say that like Friends isn't funny or whatever, but it's like, I mean, if you don't think it's funny, that's fine. But like, there cannot be a moment
Yeah.
in that 10-season show where you didn't like laugh at least once.
yeah.
I mean, it's like the premise of the show is preposterous. Like a bunch of people who barely work
Yeah.
in an expensive ass apartment in New York City.
Well,
like,
Monica inherited it from her grandmother,
I'm just saying,
but
it's
somehow-
a little fucking
and that
ridiculous,
includes rent for life, apparently.
right? For real. But like, you know what? Like it's to me, it's just like anything. Suspend your disbelief and just fucking relax and have fun, and it's fine. Like,
Yeah.
and I mean, if you don't like it, that's fine. But it's a little
It's weird to go out of your
ridiculous
way
to hate on it.
just go out of your way to tell someone who's a fan of the show, hey, the thing you love sucks.
Right? Like, calm down. It's fine.
Like,
It's-
chill the fuck out.
You don't like Friends haters are like vegans of sitcoms. Like they gotta tell you all about how
And
much
then-
they hate Friends.
You know Seinfeld's funnier. Like
They'll try and get you to watch other stuff,
Right?
That would be funnier for you.
Like, oh well, this show's much better. Have you watched this?
like, shut up.
Like, yeah, I've watched that. I enjoy them both. Fuck off.
Shut up. It's
Right?
fucking, I don't care that Seinfeld's funnier. It can be funnier. That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, be funnier. Do the thing. Just go live your fucking life.
Right.
Leave me alone. Fucking
But
vegan.
yeah, no, I mean, it was great in its own right. It was a fun show.
It was.
Like,
It was. I
the fuck over
it's
it.
one of my favorite shows. Like, I'll
Yeah.
watch, over and over again.
Or
If it's on TV.
One of my favorite. Oh my god, it's the one which is funny because I'm inadvertently like calling the episode by the exact name
Mhm.
because all the episodes start with the one where
oh yeah.
Joey does this or whatever. But Ross is getting his award or whatever, and he's freaking out because like nobody's getting ready, so he's like
Right.
trying to speed everybody along. They're getting ready in Friends. Joey's sitting on the nice comfy chair, but Chandler was sitting on it, and Joey took it, and they're going through this whole like, you didn't save it, or whatever.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
And so Ross is like, Chandler, go get ready. And he's like, fine. And he picks up the cushions and walks out. And Chandler looks at him and goes, what are you doing? The cushions are the essence of the chair. And Chandler goes, that's right. I'm taking the essence.
He was definitely my favorite.
Oh, hands down mine
And it
too.
was so like that thing that's been getting shared of Joey looking at the other empty chair.
Oh my
is
God,
so
that's so
heart wrenching.
Yeah.
dude.
Oh yeah.
My God. But
Re-
yeah,
Rest in peace to Chandler Bong.
R.I.P. in peace.
Chandler Bing.
So for those interested, Mystery Science Theater has put out a brand new Kickstarter for the 14th season. If you remember, what was it, a year ago?
Mhm.
A little over,
Mhm.
maybe a year and a half ago. We also got a Kickstarter for season 13, which built the Gizmoplex, their app for, housing everything all in one spot. And so now, we're getting a 14th season Kickstarter. It's not actually on Kickstarter though. It's on it's something called Showmaker. So it's showmaker.mst3k.com. Anyway, it had been up for like, I think less than 24 hours and it was already over $1 million.
Hell yeah.
So they're doing it a little bit different this time. Instead of having physical rewards tied to the tier you go in on, the tier you go in on is completely unrelated to physical rewards. It's basically like the digital rewards as well as each tier gives you X amount of membership time to the Gizmoplex and stuff like that.
Okay.
So the physical rewards, so like the regular tiers, I think go up to like almost $100.
Oh, damn.
And then you've got these physical add-ons, if you will, where you can add on a beanie, a shirt, stuff like that.
So it's completely customizable.
Yeah, like it's really, really, really nice.
That's pretty cool.
And part of the reason for that is because of all the troubles they had with the last Kickstarter rewards, the physical rewards for it. They've actually, due to that, not moved forward with the company who did their physical rewards last time.
Oh, okay.
Because I literally just got my physical rewards about a month ago. About less than a month ago.
I remember when you put it in the chat that you finally got it, and I was like,
yeah.
Oh, you didn't have that already?
Yeah,
right.
And granted, part of it wasn't the shipping company / physical reward fulfillment center, I guess, if you want to call it that.
Right.
Part of that wasn't their fault. Part of it was COVID, supply chain, etc.
Right.
I mean, there were so many delays due to just that. But on top of it, there was just, I think what happened primarily was that there was a lot of miscommunication between them and the people running Mystery Science Theater. And so they went with a different company for their physical rewards this time. And I mean, the nice thing though, because I know a lot of people were really upset and chomping at the bit on this last one, which I totally understand. I mean, I was chomping at the bit too, but they kept us in the loop as best as they could every step of the way. So
That's cool.
It was really, really nice. Every time they sent out an update, they would be like, hey, here's what we know. Here's what we don't. We're working on it. Sorry. We know you've been massively patient. Please continue to be patient with us. We're doing the best we can. And so they didn't just leave us in the dark, which was really cool.
That's cool.
So I don't understand why some people are so
like up in
I feel like they're a little bit unreasonably upset. Like I get being upset to a point, but like there are people who are like, I'm never gonna put in for your guys' shit ever again because blah, blah, blah. And I feel like that's a little over the top. Yeah, it sucked that it took so long to get the rewards, but I still got them, didn't I?
Right.
It's not like food that expired.
It's not like you didn't get it, you know?
At all, yeah.
Right? So, and I was so happy with everything that I got. Like, it was all very high quality, very well done. But anyway, yeah, so we've got a new Kickstarter for Mystery Science Theater. Please put in.
And how much money have you given them so far?
Which one?
Already. The new one.
The new one? About the same as what I gave last time. So like $350 to $375.
Christ alive.
Well, okay, so because I did the highest tier, which like I said is like $85-$90, something like that, whatever it was. And then I mean, I'm not gonna not get all of the physical rewards.
You're not gonna not do it.
So yeah, I added all of the physical rewards onto it.
You're not gonna not get Randy Jackson's autograph.
Exactly. Why do you have Randy Jackson's autograph on a samurai suit?
Saw Randy Jackson, and this was all I had on me.
You're not gonna not get Randy Jackson's autograph.
My little piece of news isn't really anything that is really pertaining to any of us, but it's just the fact that it looks like they have gone 100% CGI with the dwarves in the new Snow White movie now.
Really?
Oh, wow.
And it's delayed until 2025, I think.
Oh, nuts. I just saw a trailer for a Disney movie called Wish. I'd never seen it before. Yeah, and I couldn't tell you what the premise was because I was at work and it was just like kind of like I was just kind of scrolling by but I was like, huh.
Interesting.
I was like, am I at that level of old person where like
Right.
I don't know what new Disney movies and shit are coming out now?
Well, I mean, it's crazy too because I mean, yeah, the writer's strike is causing things to be delayed,
Right.
but like it seems like there are a ton of things that are getting delayed for reasons beyond any of that, like Daredevil.
Right. Right.
Where they got delayed. They're basically going back to scratch, back to the beginning.
Yeah.
But yeah, IGN posted a little picture. You got your first look at the CGI dwarves, which, like, it's fine. Like, I'm not going to go see this movie either way because I just don't care.
Right.
Like, I haven't seen any of the, like,
Insert that?
I haven't seen any of the, like, live action movies. Like, I saw Aladdin and I was like, no, thank you.
Like, it looks like they're making her a drawing or like an art as well. Like, it's not.
This might not be an actual like picture, but yeah, because it kind of it does kind of look like she's drawn in a bit, but
yeah, kind of, but yeah, I don't.
I mean, that's what I would hope is that they make them look this similar to each other. I hope she doesn't look real and they look CGI.
They should have just put Peter Dinklage's face on all of them.
Exactly.
He would have acted every single one.
Totally.
So let's see. This says it was as of Friday, which was yesterday. So, well, the article says yesterday. At the time of this recording, it was a couple days ago.
I mean, I don't know if anybody's told Hollywood, but there are more little people than just Peter Dinklage.
Oh yeah, dude! If you get
there are.
I
thought they were all dead by now.
If you make a Snow White movie and you include like Brad Williams and Peter Dinklage, like I'll go see it.
Right.
Dude, Brad Williams is fucking hilarious.
What's Mini-Me's name? Put him in there too.
He's dead.
He's dead.
Troy,
he did die.
We got AI. It's fine.
Yeah.
We got AI.
Let's just.
We're getting a new Beatles song with AI. I mean, we're getting that before we get GTA 6. Fuck. Got a new Beatles song before GTA 6.
That's wild.
It says here they debuted the image along with the news of its delay on Friday, being pushed back almost exactly a year to March 21st, 2025.
Huh.
We also get the first look, barring leaked set images of Rachel Ziegler as the eponymous princess, along with, the 7 dwarves.
Right.
Not pictured is Wonder Woman star Gal Gadot, who's also starring in the movie as the evil queen. I don't think I knew that.
You know what? I'm down for that.
That's news to me.
Yeah,
that sounds really cool.
I might actually might actually see that. I'll watch anything she's in.
Right.
And then
so damn beautiful.
I did find one other quick funny piece of news here. Skull and Bones is delayed again.
Again?
Fuck
my life.
Yeah.
That's never going to come out.
One of the questions on Google is Skull and Bones ever coming out? But it's still slated to release before the end of 2024.
Jesus.
It's like, I don't think anybody has any interest in this game anymore.
Yeah.
I never did to begin with.
Same.
Like, all that much. But because it's like, we've already got Sea of Thieves, like,
right?
Why do we need another pirate game?
Yeah, I don't know. It better be good. It better be good, and it better be running flocking
flawlessly.
It better be running flux capacitor,
right? That's exactly what I was trying to say. It better run fucking flawlessly, because this much of a delay shouldn't be a thing. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Like I said, everything getting delayed out here.
Yep. All right. Well, before we get into the next topic, if you're listening on YouTube, please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Hit that little bell icon. We want to get into as many nerdy ears as possible, and that's how you do that. We have merch. Redbubble.com/nerdcourt podcast. Get our logos and stuffs and sayings and things on all kinds of stuffs and things.
So I just recently went and bought some of our own shit. I finally got one of our NWO NCP shirts, which is dope. It's sick as fuck.
Hell yeah.
I'm a little perturbed that I'm not the only one that has one now. But it's fine.
I don't have one.
Like,
I don't have one either.
I saw.
No, the only one that has one.
Oh, right.
Like the only one of the podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
But it's fine. It's fine.
I was going to say, I've seen other fans with it on.
It's cool that mine's not movie quality.
It's cool that... what's the other... not Redbubble, but what were you? Oh,
Teespring.
it's cool that mine's not Redbubble.
Yeah, that's cool that right, because you get yours.
That's right. I did also get one of the Keep It Nerdy stickers, which we didn't have before we moved to Redbubble, right? Like that's
no.
a new one.
Yeah, that's a new one.
I haven't even looked at what we've
It's
got.
great, dude. I love it. I can't wait to put that and, Eddie Lyons sticker on my car when I fucking clean it for once. That's the only reason your face isn't on my car is because I haven't cleaned it.
God damn it, you son of a bitch.
I've got stickers on my car that are like peeling off that I just need to like take a razor blade to and just get rid of them.
Yeah, no, I definitely want that NWO as a sticker.
Oh yeah, like
dude.
a white vinyl sticker.
Yep, that shit's
would be
gonna
sick.
be rad. We have partnered with Dubby, the Gamers Energy Drink. Go ahead and check out what they have in stock and use our code NerdCorp to get 10% off at the at checkout.
W.GG.
And I really do like enjoy the shit out of it. Like the sludge bomb or some shit like that.
Oh,
That's what
yeah,
it's
yeah.
called. That one's a really
That
good.
sounds healthy.
It's super yummy though.
My
And it's cool
favorite-
because there are no like colors. Like you just like it's just like a white powder
Oh, okay.
that's flavored,
Yeah.
and that's pretty fucking dope.
My favorite one's I want to say Galaxy Grenade or something like that.
Yeah,
It's
the
like-
cherry one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So fucking good.
That one.
I am down with cherry.
Yeah. So
Always down with cherry.
it's pretty good. It's yummy. It honestly, like when we got this, like when we started getting rolling in podcasting and shit and doing shit like that, like we were always like very adamant about like not being those dudes in the middle of the ads where we're like, yeah, Tej Handley is doing our thing. This is my morning skin routine. Like we don't like talk up sponsors or whatever.
I rub the powder into my pores.
It's fucking in my gum before I put my denture on.
Have you ever just not wanted to cook? Well, have I got news for you? Hello Fresh. is
Yeah.
running a special.
Yeah. Like we never want to be those people. But W does the thing. Like it really does the thing. It keeps you level. It doesn't jitter you up or anything.
Well,
like
yeah, and I mean, we wouldn't really partner with something that we weren't down with, because we're not going to shill a product that we're
Right.
not cool with.
Right. Like if I'm not gonna use it, like I'm not going to tell you that I use it just to get paid.
Right.
So hit up Dubby, use NerdCorp, get 10% off. If you love us and want to support what we do, consider supporting us on Patreon, patreon.com/NerdCorp podcast. Several tiers of loot to have access to, from stickers and shirts to extra content and bonus episodes. If you can't make a monthly contribution, consider supporting us on PayPal, paypal.me/NerdCorp podcast. We want to have the best loot, give you the best giveaways, and give you the best nerdy experience, and that is the best way to do that. So, the Rocky Horror fucking Picture Show.
I'd like to start out reading this little synopsis.
It might as well have been called that because,
Yeah.
good lord.
All right, I want to read this little synopsis because it's about as benign of a synopsis as you could muster, but it's just the premise is fucking wild. Like, so, and I pulled this. I don't even know where I got this from. It's just in the results for Google. In this cult classic, sweethearts Brad and Janet stuck with a flat tire during a storm
Janet.
discover the eerie mansion of Dr. Frankenfurter, a transvestite scientist. As their innocence is lost, Brad and Janet meet a house full of wild characters, including a rocking biker and a creepy butler. Through elaborate dances and rock songs, Frankenfurter unveils his latest creation, a muscular man named Rocky. Like, even just that, like, as straightforward as that is, it's just like, fucking what?
Yeah, like, oh, okay. Okay, like, honestly, if this movie isn't, like, really shown to you, or if you don't, like, happen upon it yourself, like,
Right.
you really can't, like, explain what the Rocky Horror Picture Show is. Like, you really have to experience it, and it's a fucking experience, if anything else.
Absolutely. And of course, if you can, one of the best ways to experience it is at a local theater,
Right.
where they do it every Halloween
They just
season.
did that last night.
Oh, did you?
No, they did.
Oh, they did.
Because I was at work and a guy came in.
Yeah.
And he was like, I got to go do the midnight screening of Rocky Horror.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Misty and I are going to it on Halloween night.
Very cool.
Which is Tuesday, so I mean, they do 3 showings of it. But anyway, yeah, no, like it's great because like you can just get tickets to go see it, or you can get tickets to see it and tickets that give you like a theater pack sort of thing, which because everybody there's if you don't know, there's a huge audience participation side to going and seeing this live.
Right.
You throw shit at the screen at each other. You squirt each other with little squirt guns. You throw rice all over the place. Like it's such a fun interactive experience. So if whether or not you even like the movie, if you just want to see that side of it, it's a fucking blast.
Agreed.
But anyway, so yeah, we're going to go see that on Halloween night. Cause that's, even though it's Tuesday, I love seeing it on Halloween night. It's kind of the tradition.
Yeah. It's worth the lack of sleep.
Yeah.
You don't fuck with tradition.
Right.
And it's only like an hour and a half long.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, no, and fun little bit of trivia. The guy who plays Riff Raff,
Right.
who is the assistant to Dr. Frankenfurter, is the guy who wrote the script, because it was a Broadway show before it became a movie.
Right.
And he wrote the songs, like this is his baby.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I forget what his name is. Richard O'Brien. That's right.
So we'll start off with the cast. Of course, Tim Curry is Dr. Frankenfurter.
Yes.
A scientist.
The fucking goat.
This was his first fucking movie.
Was it?
This was his introduction to fucking cinema.
What an introduction.
Like, what a way to knock it out of the park.
Right?
First go. Susan Sarandon is Janet Weiss, a heroine.
Bro, fucking smoke show in that movie.
Oh,
Susan-
my
Yeah.
God. Bro, that's where I was like, I was like, oh, Susan Sarandon is that woman.
Susan Sarandon, Janet Weiss can get it.
Any day of the week.
She does.
She
multiple
does.
times.
Yes.
Barry Bostwick, who does the intro in this episode, big shout outs to him, as Brad Majors, a hero.
If you are not familiar with this movie, but have watched the phenomenal sitcom Spin City, he's the kind of the dumb mayor on that show.
Right.
He's one of the best characters on that show.
Agreed. Richard O'Brien is Riff Raff, a handyman. Patricia Quinn as Magenta, a domestic. Nell Campbell as Columbia, a groupie. Jonathan Adams as Dr. Everett V. Scott, a rival scientist. Peter Hinwood is Rocky Horror, a creation. Meatloaf, ex-delivery boy, as Meatloaf. Charles Gray as the criminologist and expert. Jerry Newson as Ralph Hapschatt. Hilary Farr as Betty Monroe. Pierre Bedines, or Bedines, I'm not sure. Christopher Biggins, Gay Brown, Ashak Bucks, Stephen Calcutt, Hugh Cecil, Imogen Clare, Tony Cowan, Sadie Core, Fran Fullenwider,
What are these names, dude?
Lindsay Ingram, Peggy Ledger, Annabelle Levinton, Anthony Miller, Pamela Obermeyer, Tony Ten, Kimmy Wong, and Henry Wolfe as the Transylvanians. And the only reason why I have them on here, or I say them, is because the Transylvanians are just as much a part of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, the extras really help move the movie along, or make the movie a part of what it is.
And how can you have the time warp without all the Transylvanians?
Right, exactly. Like, it really, like, everybody that was involved in this movie was, for me, a pivotal part of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there was, like, of course, there were bigger roles than everybody else played, but, like, everybody in this movie, without them, is not the Rocky Horror Picture Show for me.
Who was your favorite character, Yell?
Susan Sarandon, just because.
She was
Damn.
You're right. Damn it, Janet. Like,
Yeah. Exactly,
Oh
dude.
yeah.
I always had an affinity for Riff Raff. Like Riff Raff has been like he was always one of my favorites, just because he had that whole. It reminds me of like I can't remember the name, but the guy that was like, "And the boss."
Oh, Igor.
Yeah.
So for me, I would have to say it's Dr. Frankenfurter, just because
Right.
he's really actually a tragic character.
He is.
I mean, he's granted, I mean, he is a product of his time, so there's not a lot going on in the way of consent and things like that.
Right.
But I mean, he, at his core, he's just a guy out there trying to live his life, have fun, do what feels good and feels right and natural for him.
Mm-hmm.
And not only are humans fully and completely against him and wanting to, fuck him up for it, so are his own Transylvanians.
Right.
Like Riff Raff is so like, I mean, it's crazy that like he's so out of place with not just humans but his own people,
Right.
that they rebel against him, and that's just so sad to me.
No, it is. And like throughout all of it, the main thing he's only ever wanted was validation.
Yeah, he just wants to hang out and play and have a good time and do what feels good
and be loved for it,
Yeah, and be understood.
Right.
And there's like, yeah, but no.
Right.
The one thing that I was trying to I watched the show last night and I was just kind of like for what it was a decent movie. Like, but I just like every time they started singing, I was just like, okay. Because I don't know if it's because I like really enjoy like a good like spoken dialogue.
Right.
But I don't know, like if this was just, I mean, I'm not saying it was a bad movie, but like if this was like a movie,
like without the singing,
it would have been, in my opinion, it probably would have been just as good. Not saying that the singing is iconic, but the thing that I was trying to understand though is like, what was the point of having the wedding in the beginning?
I mean, I think it was really just so that, it was a nice lead in to Brad and Janet getting engaged.
Okay.
Because they're attending the wedding. They're not the ones getting married.
Right. But so why is Tim Curry like not dressed up like
he's a separate character. So he's the minister.
Oh my god. Okay, so he was doing.
Well, and did you notice that Riff Raff and
Magenta
were both there as well?
They were the
kind of usher, I guess.
The classic
American Gothic.
Yeah. I picked up on that, which I thought was kind of cool, but
yeah. No, it's just Tim Curry playing a completely different character.
Okay. Because at first I was just like, wait.
Yeah, that should make. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Where is that like?
Yeah,
it's like I don't know if it's as if like they were undercover or if it was more of like a Monty Python thing where they just are multiple characters for no reason.
I think it's a Monty Python.
Yeah.
Thing. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Because I was at first I thought it was like an undercover thing because like Tim Curry's face is just Stonewall Jackson.
Yeah.
He's not doing anything, and then like you don't see him until he comes back as Frankenfurter.
Right.
Yeah. No. Yeah. He's just a different character. He's just playing a different character. I can see why that's confusing.
That makes more sense now.
I can see why that's confusing. And yeah, no, like Nick, you don't vibe on musicals anyway, right? So
I mean, I've tried to watch them. It's just like I don't know what it is about like the singing. I don't know. Like I've tried to watch.
Does it just sort of like take you out of what's going on?
Kind of.
You're like, what is happening? This is not what life is.
Yeah, nobody does this. Like I've tried to watch multiple, like Repo, Genetic Opera, like cool premise, but like I don't know what it is about the singing. Like I just it's just not for me.
Yeah, that's totally cool. I'm happy that you even watched it to begin with. So like that I mean you don't have to like it, but I'm glad you watched it.
Do you like and Nick, you said that you had watched it once before.
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
When,
okay,
but there's just bits and pieces of it that when I was watching it last night, I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess this is more of a question for you, Eddie. Do you remember the first time you saw this movie?
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, I remember I was a teenager. Like
Yeah.
I was well into my teens when I saw this movie. I actually saw it to impress a girl. Like, because I wasn't really into musicals back then. I didn't mind them very much, and the only time I ever really saw any music happening was like in Disney movies.
Sure.
So it felt like just appropriate for them to be doing that.
That's that's the only reason why I've seen like all the Twilight movies. Like,
Right? To impress a lady. But yeah, I remember being super intrigued, but also being uncomfortable at the same time.
Right.
Because, well, coming from a Latin family, like the culture is just kind of very, it's borderline homophobic,
Well,
and
yeah.
sometimes
there's
it's
a lot
outright.
of like, you got to be a macho man, like.
Right, exactly. So it's like I was still living in that era of thinking. So I remember seeing the movie and being like, oh, wow, that's crazy. That dude's like in full drag, you know what I mean? like I was like, oh shit, and
He just wearing panties.
like, what in the fuck? Oh shit, he's in his bed too. What the hell? Like I remember this movie blowing my fucking mind, dude.
Yeah.
But I loved it. Like I did. I enjoyed it like regardless. And like I was talking to my girlfriend about it, and I'm like, this movie came out in like the 70s. Right? Like what gay agenda? You know what I mean? Like where's the outrage back then, or where's the outrage during the entire life of this movie, where we're inserting gay agendas into things, you know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, I think it was about like 16, 17 when I first saw this movie.
Yeah, see, that's about when I saw it too, and the first time I saw it is like fucking seared into my memory, like, because it was just such a, I mean, it was nothing I had ever seen before.
Exactly.
And looking back on it, because I grew up in a little Mormon town, right?
Right.
And this is not the kind of shit you ever got exposed to. Like, even if you weren't Mormon, this is not really the type of stuff that you were exposed to often.
Exactly.
Just because of the culture pervading all of local society. But it was in high school. I had a friend who, I was pretty into her, and I didn't watch it to impress her, but she was like, yeah, we're going to watch Rocky Horror Picture Show on Halloween. You want to come over? And I was like, what's that?
it sounds like, a cool horror movie.
Yeah. I was like, fucking sure, man. What? I've never heard of such a thing. Let's do it.
If I watch it, will you touch it?
I know, right? Will you touch my Rocky Horror? So yeah.
Will you touch my Frankenfurter?
Right. So I went over and watched it, and it was so fucking wild. And like, I was kind of a wild kid anyway, so I'm sure that's why she felt comfortable even asking me over to watch it with, this group of people. But, like looking back on it, and it didn't really hit me as such then, of course, but looking back on it with hindsight, age, maturity, wisdom, whatever you want to say, I think that I came away from that movie going, okay, so like there are more people that are like that, because like,
right.
Internally, like while I'm not, a cross-dresser or, things like that, like I'm very open with things like that.
Right. Exactly.
And I love those people, and I love, that sort of openness and experimentation with things, and I think that was like the first time that I was like, oh, holy shit, like you can do that, and there are people that are accepting of you and of that.
Exactly.
And just being themselves and having a good time and not having judgment.
Yeah, like especially the idea where, especially in the scene where after Frankenfurter like gets it on with Janet and then goes to Brad's room, and it's like, instead of going like, oh, dude, that's super gay. Like, it's just
Right.
like, oh, like, he's into it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
I think it's great that that ideology doesn't really exist anymore, where it's just like, oh, dude,
This is so against the
super
norm.
gay. Like, oh, it's gay. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's just like, yeah, if they're both comfortable with it, then
Yeah.
fucking what's the issue? You know?
Right.
Like,
Exactly. I feel the exact same way. I mean, and I feel like that movie, along with just a bunch of other events that happened around that time, is what made me feel like, yeah, I can, these are people.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? That makes me feel like, you know,
Like, I'm not alone. They do exist. I just have to find them. I just have
Right.
to find my people.
yeah, exactly.
I'm so happy that I'm not the only alien from Transylvania.
I'm glad I'm not the only hedonistic alien.
from transsexual in the galaxy of Transylvania.
Right. No, it did like open my eyes and like, you know, helped me to not just understand, but you know, accept people.
Right.
Because growing up in the way that I grew up, it was always like gay bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even you know, my father was just like, you know, hey, if I end up having gay sons, I don't have gay sons.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's
Well, yeah. I mean, same thing. Like, you know, with me, like, I guess it wasn't as much of a, you know, heritage cultural thing as much as it was a religious thing, which I guess sort of bleeds into all of that.
right.
But like, I mean, my mom one time rented the VHS cassette of Birdcage.
Oh no.
Yeah, and you know, we weren't 5 minutes into the movie when my dad comes in, watches like 30 seconds of it and goes, "What is this crap? Turn it off. Take it back to the movie store. Like, we're not how could you be watching this with the kids? You're going to turn them gay."
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, that's the environment that we grew up in.
Oh yeah, and I grew up in the same one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
Like, don't watch that gay shit or you'll be gay too. You know?
exactly. Like, which first of all, that doesn't make any sense, because if that were the case, gay people wouldn't exist, because
They wouldn't want to.
all they see is heterosexual relationships in movies.
Right, exactly.
So if it works one way, it would work the
You're
other.
not gonna watch something as a heterosexual and be like, you know what? I think I'm gonna try that. Like,
Dude, if that were the case, Tu Wong Fu would have been it for me.
Right?
Like,
But yeah, no, gay people wouldn't even exist, because all they see is heterosexual relationships. So if watching a movie with a certain kind of relationship will turn you into that relationship, gay people wouldn't exist.
exactly.
But anyway, so like, yeah, no, like, so that movie, like watching that movie was sort of like a gateway into not only realizing that there are other people like that, but also being comfortable with, or becoming comfortable with, who I am as a person, and the fact that I don't internally, like, I don't adhere to these strict, rigid, moral cages of like, oh, well, you know, if you do this, bad. If you do this, bad. You no premarital sex. You don't even think about sex.
Right.
Don't you even, if you touch yourself, you know, like,
Boy.
but yeah, so anyway, that was just a huge, huge thing in sort of like wherever you are at on the sexual spectrum, coming to terms with being comfortable with yourself.
Right.
that
Exactly.
kind of brings it back to the scene I was talking about where Frankenfurter does, like, and it's like verbatim what he said to Janet too, like in her bed.
Mhm.
And then towards the end, when Brad sees her pop out with Rocky, and he's just like, but then by the end of the movie, like, they're all just like doing the same thing, like
They're all
just fine with
accepting it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and right before, which
the
is so-
professor.
which, oh god, I love the professor is probably one of my like dark horse favorite characters.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, goddamn. But yeah, and you know, this kind of goes back to the consent or lack of consent thing, you know, just with Frankenfurter going to each of their beds. But then it's hilarious because Janet doesn't hook up with Rocky until she views on the monitor that Brad is sitting there smoking a cigarette after, getting it on with Frankenfurter, and she's like, "You fucking son of a bitch."
You're like, how could you?
You bastard, how could you? And but you just did it too.
Right, that's exactly what I said out loud.
That scene is so funny because it's just like, it's your typical, like, after sex, like, leaning over the bed, just like having a cigarette, and Frankenfurter's just laying there.
Yep.
There were a few parts in the movie where I was just like, just do the thing, like when they're walking up to the mansion and they just stop and just like are singing at each other, and I'm just like, it's pouring rain.
Just go inside.
Like, just go. Don't stop singing about the light and the darkness. Just go in.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Dude, one of my favorite parts of the movie is that part where they walk in, where they're like at the door and they're like, it's raining, and Riff Raff's like, yeah. I remember after watching the movie, that's how I would respond to things. Like, hey, do you want some of this? Yes. Yeah.
You're wet.
You're wet. Yes.
Bring that up use that voice with the lady next time.
Right.
You're wet.
You're wet.
You're wet.
Wibbly wobbly.
Timey-wimey.
Did you ever have that Ben app with the dog where like you ask it a question and it's like, yeah?
No.
Dude, it's this app that like you can talk to it and be like, hey, it's this dog that's just reading a newspaper, and you'll be like, hey Ben, am I gonna do this tomorrow? And he'll just either answer yes or no, but it's always just like, yes. No.
Let's get into a little bit of trivia. Shout out to IMDb for all the trivia that we read off and find out about our favorite things. The first one says, in an interview with Terry Gross on her radio program Fresh Air, Tim Curry said that he got to meet King Charles III and Princess Diana because she loved Curry in this movie. She requested the meeting while he was in a production of Love for Love that they attended. Curry recalled that he was placed at the end of the receiving line, and while Prince Charles only vaguely recognized Curry from seeing him, quote, on television, Princess Diana told Curry with a, quote, wicked smile that Rocky Horror had, quote, quite completed my education.
Oh, damn.
Princess Diana said that?
Yeah. Go.
That's hilarious.
Go, Princess Di. Okay. I see you, girl.
No wonder the queen had a kill.
Right? The theatrical movie debut of Tim Curry, Dr. Frankenfurter.
What did you say?
I said the theatrical movie debut.
Oh, it sounded like you just said the theatrical.
Oh, no, the theatrical.
The theatrical movie debut.
It's
It was when he was in the theater. Theatrical.
It's when he got the movie first. The first time he did a good movie on something. When this movie first opened, it had a traditional release with afternoon and early evening screenings. It bombed.
Yeah.
Meatloaf said that he attended an opening week performance with writer and director Jim Sharman in the Midwest, and the theater was empty except for them. Midnight screamings.
Well, that's what happens when Tim Curry visits your bed.
Yeah.
That's the title of my next romance novel.
Midnight Screaming's title of your sex tape.
Midnight screenings became popular in the mid-1970s, and word of mouth began to spread that the midnight audience might enjoy this movie. It began showing at midnight in a few cities and became so popular that it has been shown continuously in movie theaters since 1975, making it the longest theatrical run in history. The Museum Lichtspiele Cinema in Munich, Germany has screened the movie every week since June 24th, 1977.
Nice.
Offering special Rocky Horror Picture Show kits to enable celebrations during the show. The kits contain a biscuit for the toast, rice, a whistle, a candle for There Is a Light, and a sheet of paper with instructions for the time warp. And that was what you were talking about, Derek.
And I think that regionally people do different things. Like
Right.
I said, here they do squirt guns, and there's a newspaper things for you to put over your head during the rain.
Right.
Which
a couple
is
different
the
things.
dumbest
I know,
form
right?
of shelter
Like,
you could
here,
possibly conjure.
let me put this thing that's just gonna soak and tear
Exactly.
immediately over my head as protection.
Yeah.
I
from getting soaked.
I was kind of being like a mild Neil deGrasse Tyson during this game. Like, that's not going to protect you from the rain.
Yeah.
By the way, did you know that Peter Hinwood, who played Rocky, he was only in 4 movies ever.
Oh, really?
And Rocky Horror Picture Show was his penultimate movie. That was his second to last movie. He was in The Odyssey in 1968, where he played Hermes. He was in a movie in 1970 called Tam Lin, where he plays Guy. I don't know if it's a guy, like sort of an uncredited thing, or if it's a character named Guy. But
Gee.
yeah, maybe. and then he played Rocky Horror in Rocky Horror Picture Show. And then in 76, he played the Emperor's Guest in a movie called Sebastian. And it's hilarious because IMDb doesn't even refer to him as an actor. It says, Peter Hinwood is an English antiques dealer and former actor.
Is he still alive or is he dead?
I mean, it says, no, he was born in 1946, and it doesn't have a date for his death.
Crazy. Dr. Everett V. Scott crashes through the wall for his entrance because the set builders forgot to put an extra door in the lab set.
That whole scene is funny where he's just getting dragged through like all the rooms.
Oh, that's hilarious too, because it's not that it could be a straight shot, but they literally go out of their way to make him do these random loops.
He goes in a circle around the Magenta
and Columbia.
Yeah, and they're just like...
Yeah, like he takes the scenic route, apparently.
That's
and
so
he's
crazy.
like going upstairs even though he's not like hitting every stair. He's just going up at like a ramp.
So funny.
The green, I found this one really, because I was looking at all this trivia like last night or whatever. But this here, the green surgical gown that Dr. Frankenfurter wears has a pink triangle over his heart. The triangle was used by the Nazis in concentration camps to denote that the wearer was a gay man. But it is pointing downward. The pink triangle pointing upward is often used as a symbol of gay pride.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? I thought that was really cool.
That is really cool.
I think he was just a huge fan of Pink Floyd.
And by the way, I'm gonna pat myself on the back for getting Barry Bostwick's audio clip.
No,
it was really, really cool meeting him. He is a very nice dude.
That was so super good. It was one of the first intro spots that we were able to get from a celebrity.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So here's a piece of trivia from Barry Bostwick rather. So he said that filming took place from October through December in Bray near Windsor, England. And Barry Bostwick said that they were
2 months.
Yeah,
6 weeks.
Yeah.
That's it.
This whole production took 6 weeks.
God damn, dude.
And he said that they were always wet during filming because the castle had a leak, and there was one quote unquote warm room. I mean, it was filled with space heaters where the cast members took turns warming up until that room caught fire.
Well, one thing that I noticed, like, and I don't know if it's just a little one-off thing, but like when they first come into the castle, when like Riff Raff finally invites him in, like you can see breath coming out of Barry Bostwick as he's like breathing. Like,
That's crazy.
So it's like, yeah, maybe it was like freezing cold in there too.
Crazy. According to interviews, Patricia Quinn only took the role in the play because she loved the opening song Science Fiction Double Feature. She was upset.
It is a banger.
That is, the whole fucking soundtrack is a banger.
Yeah.
Science Fiction Double Feature. She was upset when she didn't get to sing this song in the movie, but agreed to lip sync the words as the pair of red lips in the beginning with vocals by Richard O'Brien.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Do you want to
vocals by Richard? Like he's
the lyrics. Like
lyrics.
Does it say who's actually singing it?
Oh wait,
I think it's.
Oh wait, no, I think it was him.
Was it him?
Yeah, that's his voice.
Huh?
What?
I'm pretty sure that's him.
In the beginning, the red lips.
I'm pretty sure.
Well, because he's singing like
he's
looking out the window
pretty high.
Yeah,
so he's like singing looking out the window at them as they're coming into the castle.
Right.
I remember that.
That's crazy.
I wonder if that is him.
Most of the actors and actresses weren't told about the prop corpse of Eddie under the dining room tablecloth.
Oh, shit.
That is great.
When it was revealed during filming, their looks of horror are genuine.
That's amazing.
The only three who knew were Tim Curry, Richard O'Brien, and Meatloaf, who had to model the corpse.
That is so fucking great.
Isn't that
I love
fucking
that.
awesome?
Do you want to hear another bit from that same scene?
Uh-huh.
From that same scene with real reactions. So when Barry Bostwick pounds his fist on the table during the dinner scene, apparently he accidentally hit the hand of Susan Sarandon. So her reaction is prominent, like it's real.
Oh,
like her
shit.
reaction to that, because he literally pounded her hand. Like, however, she later got her revenge on him, accidentally, by stepping on Bostwick's foot with her spike heel during the floor show scene. And you can see his reaction as well.
So here's one. So in that scene where he's unveiling Rocky and he's turning on the water faucets or whatever, it says that those weren't random. Each color was being rapidly shouted at him by someone off screen. So during the second close-up, a brief look of confusion can be seen on his face.
Right, yeah.
To find the right color.
So crazy.
Here's one that I really like, because I always find it interesting to hear about an actor's process of how they came to a character.
Okay.
Or a voice or whatever. So Tim Curry told Fresh Air interviewer Terry Gross that in the original play, he started out playing Dr. Frankenfurter with a German accent, but he changed that when he heard a woman on a bus speaking in a highly exaggerated English accent that reminded Tim Curry of Queen Elizabeth II. He later combined that with elements of his mother's telephone voice to create Dr. Frankenfurter's speaking voice.
That's crazy.
He also said that his mother's a pretty hip lady, enjoyed the show, although not as much as she had liked it when he appeared in The Pirates of Penzance. But yeah, like it's just always interesting to me, like to hear those sort of things that just like, well, this is how I was doing it, and then something clicked, you know?
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
This one, apparently, the set had no heat or bathrooms, and when Susan Sarandon told the studio heads, they said she was complaining too much, and she actually caught pneumonia after filming the pool scene in her outfit.
Oh, wow.
But according to Richard O'Brien, she was shaking with fever and should have been under medical supervision, but refused to stop working.
That's nuts. Steve Martin auditioned for the role of Brad Majors.
Wow.
I could see that though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know? So like, this is just, I mean, maybe this is how it is everywhere, but at the screenings that I've been to, people fucking hate Brad Majors. Like,
really?
Whenever he's on screen, they talk shit. And like, that's the thing too. So much of the audience reaction, or the audience participation stuff is sort of, scripted or understood, like, hey, this is what you do at this time. This is what you do at this time. But there are so many people that, I mean, the whole point is to make it fresh, So
Right.
people will shout different things at different times, come up with different funny jokes or responses to what a character just said and shout
Right.
them out in the middle of the movie. It's so entertaining. But yeah, no, people, anytime Barry Bostwick comes on, they're like, boo! Like, it's so funny.
This one's really cool. Vincent Price was offered the role of the criminologist, but he turned it down due to scheduling conflicts. But it said he saw the West End musical and loved it.
Damn,
that would have been
that
crazy.
would have been
Yeah.
awesome.
The filmmakers asked Susan Sarandon to perform fully nude during Touch Me, but she flatly refused.
Damn you, Susan.
Even though she
Damn it, Janet!
even though she had appeared nude in many of her previous films. I don't know why that last line doesn't sit well with me.
Yeah, like, well, you did it before, so do it
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
Come on.
Like, no, if she doesn't want to
Yeah.
fucking do it, don't fucking...
Well, you had sex with me once, so keep having sex with me.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
What's your problem?
Remember...
All right. So what if we just let Rocky touch your titties a little?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can
All
do that. Remember, it's only if she wants to, because we at the Nerd Corporation are Pro consent.
So Tim Curry apparently was very reluctant to talk about this movie for many years due to some bad memories about overzealous fans. He told VH1, now that's a fucking dated reference.
Right.
Kids, just so you know, VH1 is a channel that used to be on the air that played music videos and some things like music trivia or like little vignettes and different documentaries, I guess, of music.
Pop-up videos was...
I was just going to say the same shit.
Pop-up video
And
was
I
what
love the
VH1
80s,
was known for.
I love the whatever decades.
Yeah.
So good.
But
so
pop-up
good.
video, for me, like, that defines VH1.
Yeah, for real. That and True Hollywood Story or whatever.
Anyway, sorry for that segue. He told VH1 that he grew chubby and plain to try and escape the role of Frank. These days, he's a lot more open talking about the movie, and he even sees it as a rite of passage for teenagers. But I mean, I get that. Like, he probably saw it the same then too. It just he was fucking sick of being hounded about it.
Right. Susan Sarandon didn't want to, went on for a while and didn't want to talk about it, but it was because none of the cast saw DVD royalties.
Ooh. Oof.
Yeah.
Well, which is the only place that this made money. Like Eddie was saying, this bombed in the theaters.
Oh yeah,
originally.
Well, yeah. And now theaters are doing it
Yeah.
on their own time, so
Right.
they're going to be making the money.
Exactly. But yeah, it has such a huge cult following that, you know, VHS in the past and DVD and Blu-ray and all that kind of stuff. That's where you're going to be making the money.
yeah, oh, absolutely.
So that really fucking sucks.
Yeah.
I believe that Tim Curry even went so far as to get a wheelchair to escape the role of Frankie.
Right.
Well, I think he wanted to switch roles into Dr. Scott.
Right.
He's like, I'm sick of being Frankenfurter. Let me take the Dr. Scott role.
Right. Mick Jagger wanted to play Dr. Frankenfurter in the movie version.
Oh, so glad that was not.
Could you imagine?
Oh,
I'm a sweet transsexual. That's more Australian. My sweet. No.
Not funny.
Just walks in, fucking snorts a line of whatever. All right, let's go.
I guess that in the scene where Frank is hitting Riff Raff with the whip, he's hitting the ground behind or the ground in front of him. But at one point, he got a little close and accidentally hit him, and you can see Riff Raff like grimace a little bit.
yeah. So this is interesting because, like, you know, Meatloaf is an easy target to make fun of.
Oh yeah,
You know, but that motherfucker, I mean, like, he had issues for a good portion of his life, singing just because of some health things and some mental things. But like, that motherfucker can sing and perform. Like, I'm sorry, you can't take that away from him.
no, absolutely
You
not.
know?
Absolutely, that man. The reason he was as famous as he was
Yeah.
is because he was a fucking workhorse,
Right.
And he knew his shit.
So check this out. Richard O'Brien was concerned that Meatloaf might not be able to handle Hot Patootie, Bless My Soul. So O'Brien, when he brought out the music to him and handed it to him, he said, it's okay to flub a few lines, like that one. It's okay to flub a few lines. No one in the London cast has ever sung the whole thing correctly anyway. He looked at it, replied, what's the problem? And then sang the whole thing without skipping a beat perfectly.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean, like, come on.
yeah. It's Meatloaf. That's
Small PSA. We at the Nerd Corp know that the term is not transsexual anymore.
right.
But
Right.
we are just going with the flow of the movie. And Tim Curry has also stated that Frank is actually pansexual.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, that's another product of being in the time it was. Like, people don't... I mean, I guess they used the terminology that they were aware of.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, it
Right.
wasn't that they didn't understand it. It's that-
Transgender wasn't a thing back in the 70s.
yeah, it
Like,
wasn't that they didn't understand what they were trying to say. It's that they didn't have the vocabulary to express things correctly.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Because no one did at the point.
Right. The movies referenced in the opening number science fiction double feature are The Day the Earth Stood Still from 1951, Flash Gordon franchise, The Invisible Man, King Kong, It Came from Outer Space, Dr. X, Forbidden Planet, Tarantula, The Day of the Triffids. I think that's how you say it.
Triffids, probably?
It's 2 F's, so it would be Triffids, right?
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
Curse of the Demon, and When Worlds Collide.
So and leading into that kind of goes into the trivia that I have up perfectly. Richard O'Brien created Rocky Horror Picture Show from his love of classic science fiction and horror movies. The play premiered in 1973 at the Royal Court Theatre upstairs in London, and it starred Tim Curry, Julie Covington, Christopher Malcolm, Richard O'Brien, Patricia Quinn, Nell Campbell, Jonathan Adams, Patty O'Hagan, and Rayner Burton.
Cool. The song I Can Make You a Man was inspired by Charles Atlas muscle ads from the 1940s and 50s, often with the slogan, "In just 7 days, I can make you a man." Similarly, writer Richard O'Brien took the line, don't dream it, be it," from the back of a magazine.
Nice.
Isn't that funny?
I love that.
This one's cool. According to Meatloaf, Elvis Presley was the studio's first choice to play Eddie. He apparently expressed some interest in playing the role.
Oh, wow.
That would have been something.
Right?
Help us to the rest of my soul. I like that rocking. I can see it.
Yeah.
I can see it.
So the Time Warp song was originally written for the stage version to fill space. The original production was only 40 minutes long.
Well,
yeah.
Susan Sarandon, Barry Bostwick, and Meatloaf were the only Americans in lead roles in the movie.
The first midnight showing was on April Fool's Day in '76 at the Waverly Theater in New York's Greenwich Village.
So this one's a little bit longer, but I think it sounds really cool. So according to Meatloaf, preparations for the motorcycle scene led to several on-set accidents. His stuntman drove the motorcycle through the scene, including up and down several steep ramps. The bike fell off the top tier and landed upside down, pinning the stuntman underneath.
What the hell?
Yeah. Meatloaf ran over and lifted the heavy bike just enough to move it off of him. The stuntman did not move for some time, but eventually opened his eyes and told everyone he was okay. He later told him that it was an old stuntman trick to make sure he wasn't suffering any pain or serious injuries before moving. I mean, that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
To get shots of Meatloaf riding the bike up and down the ramps, the crew rigged a wheelchair that would hold a set of handlebars and a motorcycle windshield in front of a camera as the crew pulled it up and down the steps. In the middle of shooting, though, the wheelchair hit a ridge at the bottom of the steps, sending him flying towards the floor and shattering the camera and the windshield. Ooh, that sounds expensive. His stuntman tried to catch him, but the ramp caught the stuntman's leg and caused a serious fracture. Jesus Christ. And Meatloaf also got a deep cut on his head. I wonder if that's the cut that's in the scene.
Maybe.
Or if that's, just makeup. But yeah,
well, I mean,
that's crazy.
He wasn't like coming back as like a zombie or like the undead or anything, so that might be like an actual.
Well, Rocky Horror is like 2 bits of it. I know it's Eddie's brain and somebody else's brain.
Yeah. Well, no. It's not. He split the brain between the two of them.
Yeah.
Is what it was.
Yeah. My last one is that Magenta and Columbia were first meant to be one person.
Oh.
Yeah, she was going to be switching between the personalities.
Interesting. That would have been fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I really like both of those actors, and so it was really nice that they were both in that.
Yeah. Do you guys have any favorites? I mean, like for me, the whole soundtrack is unskippable. But I don't know. Touch Me is my favorite. I just like the way that one like flows, and it's just like fun and punchy, I think is
right. I mean, I like Eddie's rock and roll song.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love them all. But that one's probably the most fun besides, yeah, I think that one's like the most fun besides the Time Warp itself.
Right. Because Time Warp's a given.
Yeah.
Time Warp's a given, but I think Touch Me is like one of my favorite, is my favorite one. I was heavy into Glee for a time, the TV show.
Right.
The more modern one, not the...
Right.
But they did a Rocky Horror episode, and the woman, I can't remember what her name is, but the woman that played the guidance counselor.
Oh, yeah.
She did like, I think, the best cover of that song that I've seen.
Talking about Jane Lynch?
Not Jane Lynch.
No,
okay.
that was earlier. That was like toward the beginning of the show.
She's the only character from Glee that like I know of.
Or no, she wasn't it. She didn't come in until a little bit later, right?
Yeah, she didn't come in until a bit later. Yeah. I'm trying to remember.
Like you're talking about that, like that sort of like
the cute
mousy, demure, like
yeah. Mm-hmm. Jama Hayes, who plays Emma Pillsbury. Nick, if you had to choose a favorite, which one would you do?
If you had to choose a favorite of your most hated part of the movie,
I don't know. Probably. I don't know. Just because I like I did enjoy the meatloaf scene.
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably go with that one. But
Patootie.
The only like song that I knew going back into the movie was Time Warp. But,
right.
I mean,
yeah. No, I get it. Make You a Man was my like second one.
Yeah, that one's a really, really good one. Make you a man. Yeah.
Yeah, good one. It's so good.
I love that one.
All right. Well, I guess we'll go into our final ratings.
I mean, what are we going with? 10?
1
and 5?
Yeah, 1 to 5. 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest.
I mean, I like all of the characters were so amazing, and I mean, it's such a wild ride. Like, I'd have to give it a 5.
Yeah, I'm gonna go the same way. I mean, not only is this like a fun movie in itself, as someone who's partial to musicals, just the whole nostalgia of it is just is a 5 for me. Nick, be honest.
Well, I mean, you obviously can't, no matter what, can't go wrong with like Tim Curry.
Well,
absolutely
true.
not.
It really like made me go, what the when like you first hear Riff Raff sing like for the first time.
Oh yeah. Like you do not expect that
voice, and you're just like, what the shit?
Right?
Yeah, you do not expect that.
No. But yeah, going into it as someone who was not really partial to musicals, but can appreciate like the characters and stuff like that, and Susan Sarandon,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, yeah. I would probably go maybe 4.
Wow.
Okay.
All right.
No, that's good for me. That's good. That's good for me.
And remember, people, don't dream it.
Be it. All right. Well, that concludes our episode on Rocky Horror Picture Show. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, you can follow us on social media.
On Facebook at the Nerd Corporation, a podcast.
On Twitter and Instagram at NerdCorp Podcast.
Or you can shoot us an email at nerdcorppodcast@gmail.com.
And if you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just search the Nerd Corporation and watch out for our green Nerd Corp logo. If you love us and want to support what we do, consider supporting us on Patreon. Patreon.com/NerdCorp Podcast. Several tiers of loot to have access to, from stickers and shirts to extra content and bonus episodes. We'd love to thank our nerd corporate backers, Glenn the Simp, Fillmore McLaurin, and Jake Hurst, and our nerd financial investor, Dallin Gilbert. Thank you, Dallin. Thank you, Jake. Thank you, Fillmore. Bort.
Oh, I was late.
If you can't make a monthly contribution, consider supporting us on PayPal. PayPal.me/NerdCorp Podcast. We want to have the best loot, give you the best giveaways, and give you the best nerdy experience, and that is the best way to do that. So, from all of us here and not here at the Nerd Corporation, we thank you. We love you. Keep it nerdy, y'all.
Yeah.
Don't